Before the gold, shoes became iconic. Before the upright running style confused critics. Before the medals stacked into history. Michael Johnson was a quiet teenager in Dallas with an unusual stride and an unusual confidence. He did not run like other sprinters. His posture was tall, almost rigid. His stride looked mechanical rather than fluid. Early observers doubted whether that form could survive elite competition. But Johnson wasn't chasing aesthetics. He was chasing efficiency. From the beginning, he believed in precision. Every movement controlled, every step calculated. And that belief would redefine what dominance in the 200 and 400 meters looked like. Johnson's rise was not chaotic. It was structured. At Baylor University, under Coach Clyde Hart, he refined his speed with discipline that bordered on obsessive. The 400 meters is a brutal event. Too long to sprint recklessly, too short to conserve energy. It punishes hesitation and exposes weakness in the final straight. Johnson treated it like a science experiment. He studied pacing. He controlled splits. He learned how to endure lactic acid without surrendering mechanics. Where others faded visibly in the final stretch, Johnson held form. Upright, controlled, relentless. The 1992 Barcelona Olympics introduced him to the world stage. As part of the 4x400 relay team, he won gold, but an individual gold medal slipped away due to illness earlier in the games. For many athletes, that would have been the defining memory, the near miss. For Johnson, it became a pivot point. He returned to training not with frustration, but with sharpened intent. The gap between potential and performance narrowed through discipline. He wasn't interested in being good. He wanted to be untouchable. By the mid-1990s, that transformation was complete. At the 1995 World Championships in Gothenburg, Johnson achieved something unprecedented, winning both the 200 and 400 meters at a major global championship. Two events that demand different types of speed, different rhythms, different suffering. It wasn't just a victory. It was a declaration that he operated on a different level of conditioning and mental control. The gold shoes he wore that season weren't arrogance. They were symbolism. He wasn't trying to blend in. He was announcing arrival. Then came Atlanta, 1996. Home soil, maximum pressure. The Olympic Games in the United States carried weight beyond sport. Johnson entered with expectations that bordered on inevitability. In the 400 meters, he executed with clinical dominance, securing gold with authority. But it was the 200 meters that turned him into legend. When the gun fired, Johnson accelerated with unnatural calm. Down the curve, he created separation. Into the straight, he extended it. The clock stopped at 19.32 seconds, a world record that didn't just break previous marks, it shattered them. The margin was so large it felt unreal. Commentators struggled to process what they had witnessed. It wasn't just speed, it was control at historic velocity. What made Johnson extraordinary was an emotional spectacle. He rarely celebrated wildly. He rarely showed visible panic. His expression at the finish line often looked like confirmation rather than surprise. That psychological composure became part of his myth. In an era of explosive personalities, Johnson embodied quiet dominance. He didn't need theatrics. The stopwatch spoke loudly enough. He redefined the visual of sprinting success. Tall posture, short, powerful strides, minimal wasted motion. Efficiency became elegance. The late 1990s extended his reign. At the 1999 World Championships in Seville, he broke the 400-meter world record with a time of 43.18 seconds, a mark that stood for years as the gold standard of one-lap speed. By then, his career was no longer about proving critics wrong. It was about sustaining excellence. Injuries tested him. Age began its inevitable whisper. But Johnson understood something many sprinters do not. Legacy is built in layers. Each championship, each record, each disciplined race added another layer to an already towering career. When Michael Johnson stepped away from competitive racing, he left behind more than medals. He left behind a blueprint. He proved that sprinting dominance could be engineered through discipline, biomechanics, and mental clarity. He proved that style doesn't have to conform to expectation to succeed. Most of all, He proved that greatness can look calm. The gold shoes became museum pieces. The times became benchmarks. But the true legacy of Michael Johnson is the standard he set, not just for speed, but for control under pressure. In the final analysis, he did not simply run fast. He ran precisely, and that precision turned him into one of America's most enduring Olympic legends.